Hey everyone, welcome back! Today, we're talking about some of the biggest upcoming movies and shows that fans are really excited about. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Next up, horror fans have a lot to be excited about because Ready or Not is officially coming back in a big way. The sequel, titled Ready or Not, Here I Come, has just received a release date update, and it's actually moving earlier than expected. The film is now scheduled to hit theaters on March 27, 2026, which signals strong confidence from the studio in this next chapter of the franchise. Samara Weaving returns as Grace, the unforgettable final girl who barely survived the deadly family ritual in the first film. This time, she's not facing the chaos alone. She's joined by Katherine Newton, who plays her sister, and together they're pulled into an even darker and more dangerous nightmare. Instead of escaping just one twisted family, the sequel raises the stakes by introducing new, even more unhinged families, turning survival into a full-scale fight. Behind the camera, the creative team that made the original such a breakout hit is fully back. Directors Matt Bettinelli-Open and Tyler Gillette return, along with writers Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murphy, ensuring the sequel keeps the same sharp tone fans loved. Expect the same balance of brutal, over-the-top horror mixed with dark, twisted comedy, but on a much bigger scale. With a stronger release window, returning fan-favorite characters, and a more ambitious story, Ready or Not, Here I Come is shaping up to be a bloodier, funnier, and more intense follow-up that horror fans won't want to miss.
So first up, we've got some major news for Avatar fans, and this one is definitely going to spark a lot of conversation. The upcoming animated movie, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, is officially skipping a theatrical release altogether. Instead of hitting cinemas, the film will now premiere exclusively on Paramount Plus in fall 2026. This is a pretty big shift from what fans were originally expecting, especially for a franchise with such a massive and loyal fan base. The movie is set years after the events of the original series, and it follows Aang at a more mature stage in his life. He's no longer just the young Avatar learning the basics of his powers. This time, Aang is facing new and more complex threats, heavier responsibilities, and difficult moral choices that come with protecting balance in a changing world. The story aims to explore how the role of the Avatar evolves as the world around him grows more complicated, while still staying true to the emotional core that made the original show so iconic. One of the most exciting parts is the voice cast, which is absolutely stacked. The film features Eric Nam, Dion Kwan, Jessica Matten, Roman Zaragoza, Steven Yeun, and Dave Bautista. Each of them brings a distinct presence, and together they're expected to add depth, emotion, and energy to both new characters and familiar faces in the Avatar universe. Now, while some fans may be disappointed that they won't get to see Aang's return on the big screen, there is a big upside here. Releasing the movie on streaming makes it instantly accessible to audiences all over the world, allowing longtime fans and brand new viewers to experience this next chapter from home. With stunning animation, epic storytelling, and the heart that defined Avatar from the beginning, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated animated releases of 2026.
There's a major shift coming to the Terminator franchise, and this one truly marks the end of an era. James Cameron has officially confirmed that Arnold Schwarzenegger will not be returning for the next Terminator movie. After nearly 4 decades of being the face of the franchise, the iconic T-800 is stepping aside, signaling a bold and deliberate reset for the series. Rather than relying on familiar characters, the next film will focus on an entirely new generation of characters and a fresh direction for the story. Cameron has explained that the future of Terminator will lean heavily into modern ideas that feel more relevant than ever, including artificial intelligence, global conflict, surveillance, and the evolving relationship between humans and machines. The goal is to explore these themes in a deeper, more grounded way, instead of simply repeating the formula of past films. Cameron is currently writing the script himself, and while the project is still in early development, he's made it clear that this new chapter is something he's taking very seriously. Once his work on the Avatar films is complete, he plans to fully shift his focus back to Terminator and expand the mythology in ways the franchise hasn't explored before. This doesn't mean Terminator is ending. In fact, it represents a complete reinvention, one that moves beyond nostalgia and opens the door to a darker, smarter, and more forward-looking vision of the future. Fans should prepare for a Terminator story that feels familiar in spirit but completely new in execution.
After a surprisingly strong box office run, The Housemaid is officially becoming a full-fledged franchise. The sequel, titled The Housemaid's Secret, has already been fast-tracked into development, with filming expected to begin sometime in 2026. The decision comes after the first film exceeded expectations and proved as a huge audience for psychological thrillers that rely on tension and twists rather than massive budgets. Sydney Sweeney is set to return as Millie, the character at the center of the story, and this time she's taking on an even bigger role behind the scenes as an executive producer. Her involvement signals that the sequel will stay closely aligned with the tone and character depth that made the first movie such a hit. The director and screenwriter from the original film are also returning, ensuring continuity in style, pacing, and atmosphere. The sequel is based on the second novel in Frida McFadden's best-selling Housemaid trilogy, which means fans can expect the story to go even deeper into Millie's dangerous world. This next chapter introduces higher stakes, darker secrets, and more psychological mind games, pushing the suspense further than before. With the creative team staying intact and the source material already beloved by readers, The Housemaid's Secret is shaping up to deliver even more twists, tension, and shocking moments, making it one of the most anticipated psychological thrillers on the horizon.
Now let's move into some huge DC news, because this next update could completely reshape the future of Matt Reeves' Batman universe. According to multiple reports, Sebastian Stan is expected to join the Batman Part 2 in the role of Harvey Dent, one of Gotham City's most complex and tragic figures. For fans of DC lore, this is a massive development because Harvey Dent isn't just another character. He's the man who eventually becomes Two-Face, one of Batman's most iconic and morally conflicted villains. If this casting is officially confirmed, it adds a tremendous amount of emotional and dramatic weight to the sequel. Sebastian Stan is known for bringing depth and internal conflict to his characters, and that skill set fits perfectly with Harvey Dent's story. On one side, he's Gotham's idealistic district attorney, fighting corruption from within the system. On the other, he's a man slowly pushed towards darkness, chaos, and revenge. Placing that arc directly opposite Robert Pattinson's Batman opens the door for a powerful clash of ideologies, justice through the law versus justice through fear. Adding even more intrigue, there are strong rumors that Scarlett Johansson could appear as Gilda Dent, Harvey's wife in the comics. If true, her presence would expand the film's emotional core and deepen the political and legal drama inside Gotham. Gilda's character often represents the last anchor to Harvey's humanity, and bringing her into the story could make his eventual transformation into Two-Face even more tragic and impactful. Behind the camera, Matt Reeves returns as director, continuing his grounded, noir-inspired vision of Gotham City. Production is expected to begin in spring 2026, giving the team time to build on the gritty realism, corruption, and psychological tension introduced in the first film. The sequel is currently scheduled for a theatrical release in October 2027, setting it up as one of DC's biggest and most anticipated projects of the decade. With returning characters like Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, and the Penguin, combined with the potential introduction of Harvey Dent and Gilda Dent, the Batman Part 2 is shaping up to be darker, more emotional, and more character-driven than ever. If these casting rumors become reality, this sequel could push Batman's world into an entirely new and unforgettable direction.
Now let's talk about Assassin's Creed, because this project is finally starting to feel very real. Netflix's long-awaited live-action Assassin's Creed series is officially moving forward, and the creative team behind it is raising expectations in a big way. The series has locked in Johan Renck as director, the filmmaker behind the critically acclaimed and Emmy-winning series Chernobyl. That alone signals a major tonal shift for the franchise, pointing towards something darker, more grounded, and far more character-focused than previous adaptations. The show is being developed by Roberto Patino and David Weiner, two experienced showrunners known for handling complex worlds and morally layered storytelling. Their involvement suggests that the show won't just rely on action and spectacle, but will dig deeper into the philosophy, ideology, and personal cost of being an assassin. This opens the door to exploring themes like control versus freedom, loyalty versus belief, and the consequences of living a life in the shadows. Early casting has already been announced, though character details are still being kept tightly under wraps. Production is expected to begin in early 2026, with filming set to take place in Italy, a location deeply tied to the franchise's history and one that fans of the games will immediately recognize. Shooting on location adds authenticity and reinforces the historical roots that have always been a core part of Assassin's Creed. While Netflix hasn't revealed any plot specifics yet, everything about this project points towards a more serious and cinematic interpretation of the Assassin's Creed universe. With Rank's atmospheric direction and a creative team focused on depth and realism, this series has the potential to finally deliver the kind of adaptation fans have been waiting for, one that respects the source material while telling a powerful new story. If executed well, this could become one of Netflix's most ambitious and mature game-to-screen adaptations, blending history, stealth, and political intrigue into a bold new chapter for Assassin's Creed.
Star Wars might be heading into completely uncharted territory, and this could be one of the boldest creative shifts the franchise has ever attempted. According to multiple industry reports and insider discussions, Lucasfilm is actively developing a horror-themed Star Wars project, potentially as a series for Disney streaming platforms. While the studio hasn't officially confirmed the details yet, the idea alone has already sparked massive interest and speculation among fans. This possible new direction comes after recent Star Wars projects have gradually leaned into darker and more mature storytelling. Shows like Andor and The Acolyte explored political tension, moral ambiguity, and psychological pressure, setting the stage for something even more intense. A horror-focused project would take that evolution one step further by embracing elements like fear, isolation, suspense, and psychological terror, all within the Star Wars universe. For decades, Star Wars has flirted with horror without fully committing to it. From the eerie presence of the Sith, to haunted planets, abandoned space stations, and the mysterious unknown regions, the ingredients have always been there. A true horror series could explore stories of characters trapped in remote locations, hunted by unseen forces, or confronting ancient and terrifying evils tied to the dark side of the Force. While nothing has been officially announced yet, reports suggest that Lucasfilm is seriously considering this genre expansion as a way to push the franchise forward and reach new audiences. If this project moves ahead, it wouldn't just be another Star Wars show. It could fundamentally change how Star Wars stories are told, proving that the galaxy far, far away still has plenty of dark corners left to explore.
Finally, we've got some major news for Tomb Raider fans, because this upcoming series is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious adaptations of the franchise yet. Amazon MGM Studios has officially revealed the cast for its highly anticipated Tomb Raider television series, which will stream exclusively on Prime Video. Leading the show is Sophie Turner, who steps into the iconic role of Lara Croft, bringing a fresh interpretation to the legendary adventurer. Turner has reportedly been undergoing extensive physical training for the role, signaling a version of Lara that leans heavily into realism, endurance, and raw survival rather than just spectacle. Joining her is an impressive supporting cast, including Sigourney Weaver, who takes on the role of a powerful and mysterious figure with her own hidden agenda, and Jason Isaacs, who will portray a complex antagonist tied closely to Lara's past. Their involvement adds serious weight to the series and suggests a story that balances high-stakes action with deep character drama. The series is created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is serving as writer and executive producer. Known for her sharp character work and emotional depth, her involvement points toward a Tomb Raider adaptation that focuses just as much on Lara's internal struggles as it does on ancient ruins and explosive set pieces. Rather than simply retelling familiar stories, the series aims to explore who Lara Croft just beneath the adventure, her motivations, her vulnerabilities, and the cost of the life she's chosen. With Amazon backing the project and a creative team focused on character-driven storytelling, this Tomb Raider series promises a bold, modern take on the franchise. Fans can expect intense action, global exploration, and a more grounded, emotionally rich journey that redefines Lara Croft for a new generation. Now let's end on some really good news for Rush Hour fans, because this long-awaited sequel is finally starting to feel real. After years of delays and uncertainty, Rush Hour 4 is reportedly moving closer to actual production. According to multiple industry reports, the film could begin filming as early as 2026, which marks the biggest progress the project has seen in a very long time. While the studio hasn't officially announced a green light yet, behind-the-scenes momentum is clearly building. Although contracts have not been finalized, both Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker have expressed continued interest in returning as Detective Lee and Detective Carter, the iconic duo that made the franchise such a massive hit. Their chemistry is the heart of Rush Hour, and bringing them back together is considered essential for the sequel to move forward. Reports also suggest that the production is being planned on a much larger scale, with discussions around international filming locations and a significant budget increase.
If everything falls into place and cameras start rolling in 2026, the movie could be targeting a theatrical release sometime in 2027, bringing the action comedy franchise back to the big screen for a new generation. For longtime fans, this sequel represents more than just another installment. It's a chance to recapture the fast-paced action, comedy, and unforgettable banter that defined the original trilogy. If Rush Hour 4 finally makes it to theaters, it could be one of the most nostalgic and crowd-pleasing releases of the decade.
Even though Stranger Things has officially come to an end, the story of this universe is far from over. The Duffer Brothers have confirmed that a brand new spin-off series is currently in development. And instead of continuing the journey of familiar characters, this new project is taking a bold and refreshing direction. The spin-off will focus on entirely new characters, set in a different town, and will introduce a new storyline and mythology that exists within the same Stranger Things universe. One of the most interesting aspects of the spin-off is that none of the original cast will return. This allows the creators to start fresh without being tied to previous character arcs, while still exploring the strange supernatural rules that define this world. According to the Duffers, the goal is to tell a story that feels both connected and completely original, expanding the universe rather than repeating it. The series is expected to explore new mysteries, new threats, and unexplained phenomena, while also answering some lingering questions left behind by the original show. Early hints suggest the spin-off may be inspired by obscure elements introduced late in the series, potentially uncovering hidden secrets that were only briefly teased before. While details are still being kept under wraps, the Duffer Brothers have returned to the writer's room after a short break, signaling that development is actively moving forward. For fans who grew up with Stranger Things, this spin-off promises a fresh chapter, one that honors what came before while opening the door to a whole new corner of the Upside Down.
Disney has officially revealed some major casting news, and fans of classic animated films are paying close attention. The studio has announced the lead cast for its upcoming live-action adaptation of Tangled, the beloved 2010 animated film that became a fan favorite thanks to its humor, heart, and unforgettable music. Stepping into the role of Rapunzel is Tegan Croft, known for her performances that balance strength, emotion, and charm, qualities that fit perfectly with the adventurous and spirited princess. Joining her as the roguish and lovable Flynn Rider is Milo Manheim, a familiar face to Disney audiences. His casting suggests a version of Flynn that leans into both the character's humor and emotional depth, preserving the playful chemistry that made the animated duo so iconic. The film is being directed by Michael Gracie, the filmmaker behind The Greatest Showman, which hints at a visually rich and musical approach to the story. With Gracie at the helm, fans can expect sweeping visuals, energetic performances, and a cinematic style that brings Rapunzel's fairy tale world to life in a bold new way. While Disney hasn't announced an official release date yet, this casting reveal marks a major step forward in the project's development. As Disney continues expanding its slate of live-action remakes, Tangled stands out as one of the most anticipated, especially for fans eager to see how the film's magic, adventure, and iconic characters translate into live action.